This is How Not to Burn Water, Cooking 101 with Miss Charlotte. I am Miss Charlotte, and today we're going to make chicken stew. We have picked our chicken. We have skimmed our fat.
Tasty.
And now we are ready to make the stew. First thing we need to do is heat up our chicken stock. I just decided that I would start reducing this at the beginning. You only need 5 cups, but this is the stock that was left over in the fridge. So I'm just going to keep that on the boil so it continues to reduce, and then I'll use that for the dish. You need 1.5 sticks of butter to start. So let's get that rolling. Actually, let's not do that first. Let's first get my hair set up, because I don't want any in my dish. And get an apron on. Always wear an apron! Unless you like grease-spattered clothing. Alright. So, butter. 1.5 sticks of butter. Not 1.5 cups. 1.5 sticks of butter. You want to put this on medium-high heat. And you want to add to it some chopped onions. I'm going to put that right about there. That should be good enough. Alright. So now, let's get our onion ready. Again, you cut your onion your way, I cut my onion my way. I like to rinse it because I don't like to cry. Just chop it up, small dice, large dice, as big as you feel like, as you like eating. I like mine a little bit, you know, smaller. Okay, so we have our onions. You want about 2 large onions. I use sweet ones. They're tasty. And I had these already chopped up. And then what you want to do is prepare your carrots. I like to peel my carrots on paper towel, easy cleanup. I don't have to worry about anything. Peels flying all over the place. You want about 2 cups of diced carrots. And what you're going to do with them is you're going to blanch them so that they're not too hard for your stew. I've already got some cut up already just to make this quick. You're probably wondering, what is blanching? Well, you take your vegetables that you're going to blanch and you chop them up in pieces. Or if you're doing broccoli, you have florets. And you plunge them in boiling water for a couple minutes just to soften them up. So that's what we're going to do. Alright. I'm using hot water because it'll boil faster. No, using cold water does not boil faster. Okay. You're going to want to bring that to a boil. Here's a nice tip. If you cover a pot, it'll boil faster. So, let's cover our pot. Okay. Once once it starts to boil, then you can add some salt. That adds a little extra flavor to your carrots. Alright, our onions seem to be doing just fine. What I'm doing, I'm just softening them up a little bit till they're just about translucent. This process right here is going to take about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, depending how many onions you like. About 10 or 15 minutes. So we're going to let that just sit there and get all happy. I've got my stock that's reducing. I only need 5 cups, so I'll still end up measuring it out. I will blanch my carrots in just a minute. Let's get some chicken cut up. Here's the picked chicken. I'm not going to use the same board. I've got another one. Alright, I'm also confusing my son with the directions that I'm going. It's kind of fun. Alright, just chop them up into bite-sized pieces. You can pull them apart and shred them if you want. If you like shredded pieces in your stew, it doesn't really matter. You just don't want chunks like this coming out into your stew. So, we like to have ours a little bit smaller. I'm going to use the same bowl that my onions were in. It's not going to hurt anything. And you're going to chop all this up into bite-sized pieces. This is pretty much all the meat that came off of the chicken nicely. And there you go. So let's just continue to chop this, and when our onions are done, we'll come back and I'll show you what the next step is. So, as you can see, our onions are looking real happy. What you want to do next to the onions is add 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, unbleached, 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 unless you've got a thing for bleach. You're going to stir this up really good and cook for about, a couple minutes. It's going to look like this. You're sort of making a roux here. The butter, the flour, that's going to help thicken up our sauce. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to measure out my 5 cups. I reduced as much as I possibly can. There you have it. 5 yummy cups. Alright. Now what you want to do is grab a whisk. And you're going to whisk in the hot stock. Alright? Okay. Very carefully whisk in the hot stock. This is already starting to thicken up. And you're going to let it cook for about 1 more minute after it's nice and thick. And then you're going to take it off of the heat. So we've got about 1 more minute on here. Our carrots are ready. And what we want to do now is we're going to add our peas. I'm going to turn this off. That's been about a minute. That's close enough to a minute. I'm going to add our cooked chicken, which is right here. Alright. I'm going to add our carrots after I drain them. together. Alright, you're going to want to add some pepper. Here it is. I knew it was somewhere. About a teaspoon. And about a teaspoon of salt. Alright. You're going to want to add about a 1/4 cup of parsley. That's about it. And better than bouillon. This is my secret ingredient. It doesn't call for it. Like the exact, oh, this is hard to open. Okay. I'm going to just pour a little bit of this stock in here. It's nice and hot. It should dissolve the better than bouillon. About that much. This particular one is actually a reduced sodium, which I don't normally buy because, well, because I don't. But let that dissolve. You're actually supposed to put this in the warmed up stock and dissolve it right away, but I forgot, so and I didn't highlight it on my recipe card. Alright, pour this in here, or if you follow the directions like you're supposed to, you wouldn't have a problem. Mix it all up. Add your cream, 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Mix that in there. Alright, and now I'm going to put it in my pan. I've got a 9x13 pan. I have parchment on a cookie sheet to catch the drippings in case it bubbles over. I'm going to pour it in here, bake it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. Put your biscuits on top, bake it for another 20 minutes. That sounds good. When the biscuits are golden brown and your stew is bubbly, it's done. Come back in a second and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all said and done. Alright, so we are done. We're going to take this out. It's nice and bubbly. It's very hot. And it's very heavy. Okay. You can see it made a nice big mess and it's continuing to make a mess, but that's okay. You're going to want to let the lava cool for about 10-15 minutes and then you can serve it up. And that was our whole big project there, making chicken stew. I hope that you give it a try and definitely leave me comments down below. Let me know how it went. Let me know if you have any suggestions, comments. Maybe you added parsnips. I don't know. But yeah, just go ahead, give it a try. And we will see you in a couple days for our next culinary adventure.